Sebastian Bourdais, Renger van der Zande, and the entire Chip Ganassi Racing crew, with their yellow-nosed 01 Cadillac, have been a staple of IMSA's GTP category. Though their tenure has been mired by mishap, their victories have highlighted the immense talent of team, driver, and crew. But as 2024 comes to an end, we have learned that Sebastian Bourdais is leaving to go to the World Endurance Championship, Renger van der Zande is heading to another team, and Chip Ganassi Racing will not be returning to the series in 2025. But here, in their final race at Petit Le Mans, the team will not go quietly into that dark night, and they will push like hell against the dying of the light in search for that one final glorious trip to the top step of the podium. But returning to the top step of the podium will be no easy feat, because with just over 5.5 hours remaining in the field behind the safety car, this 01 is back in 7th position and critically 1 lap behind the leader. So with the field ready to go back to green flag racing, Scott Dixon has a huge amount of work ahead of him to get this 01 car back in contention for victory. Into the penultimate corner, and Dixon, the Indy 500 winner and 6-time IndyCar Series champion, is already putting pressure on the number 10 Acura of Brendan Hartley, who is just ahead and 1 lap in front of this 01 car. Down the front straight, and Dixon defends to the inside through turn 1 to dissuade the GTP behind him from attempting any kind of move. As he makes his way up over this crest, he closes in on the 10 Acura as they go through turn 3, which is blind until you hit that apex curb. Down through the S's, which are nearly flat in these GTP cars, and we can see the rest of the field streaming out in front of this number 01 car. As the stint continues, Dixon has stayed within striking distance of Brendan Hartley, who is now encountering GTD traffic, which is never far away here at Road Atlanta. Through turn 6 and into turn 7, Dixon lunges up the inside of the number 10 Acura, which is caught behind the number 9 Pfaff McLaren that Dixon uses as a pick to get ahead of the number 10 Acura and begin chasing down Kevin Estre, who is currently the overall leader in his number 6 White Stripe Porsche. So if this 01 car can get ahead of the 6 Porsche, then if a safety car comes out, they will be back in contention for the victory. And as they make their way through the penultimate corner, Estre is struggling for grip as his rear tires are sliding on that corner exit. They hit the brakes hard as they make their way into pit lane, and that 01 Cadillac is tantalizingly close to overtaking that 6 Porsche and getting back on the lead lap. With Dixon in the pits, the crew bolts on a set of fresh but freezing cold Michelin tires before he pulls away on the electric motor. And that gas-powered V8 kicks in, and Nick Tandy just squeezes out ahead of this 01 car. And we see a massive slide for Dixon as he struggles to put temperature into these Michelin tires. Through turn 3, we can still see the car wiggling around as he struggles to put the power down. Through the S's, he is just tiptoeing as he slowly builds temperature in these tires and closes in on Nick Tandy, who doesn't seem to be struggling quite as much. Into turn 6, and he has begun to put temperature into these tires and can start to lean on them a little bit more as he still gets a slight wiggle, though, through that right-hander. And as he exits the slowest corner on the circuit, Dixon can breathe a slight sigh of relief as he has just about dealt with the worst of these cold tires and can listen to the V8 humming in his ears down the back straight. Into the final chicane, and Tandy encounters GTD traffic and locks up on his cold tires. His exit is now compromised. Dixon has a run coming out of the corner as Tandy struggles to put the power down. Dixon shoves his nose up the inside as he makes his way alongside and then past Nick Tandy, returning this 01 car to the lead lap and bringing it back in contention for victory. As the stint continues, though, Dixon is trapped behind 2 LMP2s, which are both battling with each other and attempting to overtake some GTDs. through the chicane. Dixon has more speed, but just nowhere to go as he is trapped behind these LMP2 cars. If we look to the left, we can see there is the number 6 Porsche of Nick Tandy, who makes his way around the outside with Dixon stuck in that LMP2 traffic. He makes his way past the Iron Dames Lamborghini, but has lost his lap to this number 6 Porsche. All of that hard work for nothing, as Dixon is once again searching for a way past this number 6 Porsche of Nick Tandy, who is pushing the limits as he squeezes past that Acura through the S's. That is not a conventional place to pass a GTD car, but helps him build a buffer to this 01 Cadillac of Scott Dixon. With Tandy pushing the limits throughout this stint, what we didn't see is he actually made contact with the GTD Ferrari while chasing down the 01 Cadillac of Scott Dixon. So, as Dixon exits this penultimate corner and we come over the crest, the Porsche pulls to the right-hand side and into the pits to serve a penalty for accident responsibility. So, with under 4.5 hours remaining, this 01 car is officially back on the lead lap and back in contention for victory. Through turn 7, and Dixon is closing in on number 40 Acura of Colton Herta, who is exiting the pits on cold tires. With Dixon on hot rubber, he closes in dramatically in the draft and pulls to the left-hand side to put him one lap down. Now, a theme that will come up several times throughout this video is that pitting at Road Atlanta costs you almost exactly one lap. So that means that you are battling cars both on your in-lap and on your out-lap. With Dixon having overtaken that number 40 car as it exited the pits, they will now be pushing to get their tires up to temperature as quickly as possible to not be re-overtaken by this number 40 car. And with Bourdais jumping aboard, the crew bolting on a fresh set of tires, we can see the 6 Porsche coming past now, having served that penalty. With his pit stop complete, Bourdais refires this number 01 Cadillac back onto the racetrack. He short shifts as he exits the pit lane, trying not to spin up these rear tires and trying to get up to speed as quickly as possible so that he can stay ahead of the number 40 Acura. Through the right-hander, he has absolutely no grip as we can see GTD cars coming flying past as if they are in the faster class. Down the hill, and there is just no grip to speak of for Bourdais. He struggles to put the power down coming out of the S's, and there goes Colton Herta, putting this 01 car back in 7th position. Bourdais needs to quickly put temperature in these tires if he wants to catch up and re-overtake the number 40 Acura of Colton Herta. About 10 minutes later, and he has once again caught the rear of this number 40 Acura, which looks like it has lost use of its left-hand taillight. Down the front straight Bourdais goes as he closes in on the IndyCar driver. Through turn 1, and that Acura just does not have the pace of this Cadillac. Over the crest, and Bourdais closes in through this blind right-hander, which has a blinding sun on the exit as well. Down the hill they go, and Colton Herta is caught behind, ironically, an Acura GTD. He has nowhere to go as Bourdais now is fully in the draft of this number 40 car with that one tail light. Colton Herta defends to the inside as Bourdais looks around the outside through turn 6. He cannot execute the move, but he dives up the inside through turn 7 on Colton Herta to reclaim that 6th position and continue chasing down the overall leaders. As this stint continues, Bourdais is now chasing down the 3rd place Porsche of Matthew Campbell, who is caught behind Tom Blomqvist in the 31 Whelen Engineering Cadillac, who is just one lap behind. Through turn 7, and that Porsche is so tantalizingly close to the 31 car as they make their way through GTD traffic. Campbell is firmly in the draft of that Cadillac that is kicking up dust as it bottoms out going down this back straight. Campbell peaks to the outside with so much speed in this Porsche down the straight. He brakes as late as he can, but is squeezed wide by Tom Blomqvist. Bourdais has a front row seat to this action as he gets a better exit than Campbell coming out of that chicane and looks to poke his nose up the inside, but thinks better of it as he falls in line behind the number 7 Porsche of Campbell. And as the sun sinks lower and lower in this Georgia sky, Bourdais continues to pile on the pressure in his number 01 Cadillac. Down through the S's they go as they weave their way through the GTD traffic. Campbell is caught behind the Pfaff McLaren going through this right-hander. He uses the curb on the right-hand side as they have begun to punish their cars harder and harder in the pursuit of ever more speed. Through turn 6, and we can see a gaggle of GTD traffic just out front as they squeeze the throttle heading onto the back straight. The character of this race is becoming more and more aggressive by the minute. Blomqvist stays to the right to pass this GTD and LMP2 traffic, but Campbell goes to the left-hand side with these two cars picking their way through the traffic, and Bourdais in hot pursuit in his hot pink Cadillac. Through the chicane, Bourdais has to tuck in behind this number 1 BMW, but as they make their way over the crest and through the final corner, Campbell is now the one caught in traffic as his exit is compromised through that sweeping corner as he makes his way past that Mercedes GTD. Bourdais has the run going down the front straight, peeks his nose to the inside, but just thinks better of it as Campbell is able to hold on to that podium position ahead of this number 01 car. With the stint coming to an end, Bourdais pulls to the right-hand side, but is caught behind a GTD Corvette on the pit lane entry that will cost him time as he makes his way into his pit box. With the stop complete, Bourdais hustles to get back out on track and not lose a position to the 31 or a lap to the number 7, but he is once again caught behind this Corvette as they exit the pits. And there on the left-hand side goes the number 31 Cadillac, with Bourdais still unable to find a way past this 13 car. As he squeezes past the Corvette, Campbell pokes his nose around the outside through the S's and squeezes past Sebastian Bourdais, putting the 01 one lap down on the number 7 car. As Bourdais struggles to put the power down, an LMP2 car comes past on the exit. With the stint continuing and the lights now ablaze on this number 01 car, Bourdais has put temperature in his tires and is closing in on the number 7 Porsche of Matty Campbell that is coming to the end of its stint. Once again, the name of the game here at Road Atlanta is being able to quickly put temperature in your tires coming out of the pits. So, with Campbell needing to come into the pit lane this lap, he will be fighting as hard as he can to build a gap to Bourdais and to put temperature on his tires once he returns to the racetrack after his pit stop. Campbell pulls to the right-hand side though, and Bourdais comes flying past as he looks to pump in as fast a lap as he possibly can, with Campbell trundling down the pit lane and bolting on a fresh set of cold tires. With the stop complete, Campbell lights up the tires as he exits the pit lane in an attempt to put any heat possible in his rear Michelins. On pit lane exit though, he is absolutely trundling as Bourdais takes 3rd position away from Matty Campbell, who locks up going into turn 3 and runs wide over the grass as he heads into the S's, losing even more time to Sebastian Bourdais. With still more than a standard IMSA length race remaining, this 01 Cadillac is on the front foot and fighting its way forward as Bourdais encounters this 31 Cadillac, which is out on cold tires. Bourdais easily makes his way around to put himself one lap ahead of that 31 car. With Bourdais' stint complete, he jumps out of the 01 Cadillac for the final time to hand over to their closer, Renger van de Zande, who pulls out of his pit box to venture into the unknown in the darkness on these cold tires. And as he exits the pit lane, the GTD cars come flying past as if they are in a separate class ahead of this GTP category. He is able to navigate this right-hander, but that is no easy feat as a Ferrari GTD comes flying past, down through the S's, and he is struggling so much in this 01 car. It does make you wonder if they should just use tire warmers. This is kind of crazy watching professional drivers struggle so much. It is exciting for the fans, but it might be a bit dangerous for the drivers. Through turn 6, and he is finally starting to put some temperature into his tires. I spoke too soon. Van der Zande spins, entering turn 7 as there was just no grip, and his rear tires gave out on corner entry. He slowly has to get the car refired and turned around again, as we can see headlights from his competitors navigating their way past. Finally, he crosses the track and is facing the right direction as he gets back up to speed going down the back straight, but he lost a considerable amount of time with that spin. I want you to look to the left-hand side, because there is the 31 Cadillac of Tom Blomqvist, who makes his way past and into the chicane. Van der Zande brakes early, but wiggles around and nearly goes off the track as he has absolutely no grip on these cold tires and struggles to put the power down coming over the crest. There goes the number 7 Porsche, reclaiming that podium position from this number 01 Cadillac of Van der Zande. 5 minutes into this stint, and finally Van der Zande is back on the front foot in this 01 Cadillac and closes in on the number 7 Porsche, which is caught behind GTD traffic going through turn 3. Campbell squeezes past the 65 Mustang and builds a gap to Van der Zande, who is caught behind that GTD Pro car. Despite these plummeting track temperatures, the race in GTP is heating up. Through turn 6, Van der Zande closes in on this LMP2 car, which clobbers the apex curb. And as they make their way down the back straight, we once again see these GTP cars bobbing and weaving their way through this GTD traffic. Campbell looks to make his way past the 31 as he looks around the outside, heading into the chicane. They go side by side as Blomqvist brakes fractionally later and is able to hang on to the position ahead of the number 6 Porsche, but his exit is compromised. Campbell has a run, but kicks up dust as he goes 2 wheels in the dirt, coming over the crest before falling in line behind that number 31 car one more time. All the while, with Van der Zande closing in on this number 7 Porsche. Van der Zande now has the run on the Porsche as they come up the crest into turn 3, but there is nowhere to go as he pokes his nose to the inside but falls in line behind Campbell one more time. Coming down through the S's, the gloves are starting to come off as Blomqvist makes his way around the outside, an unconventional pass there on that Ferrari GTD car. Campbell squeezes past as well, and these 3 GTPs are making aggressive passes through this GTD traffic. Blomqvist squeezes up the inside of a GTD Ferrari through turn 6 as Campbell squeezes his way past through turn 7 as well, with Van der Zande caught behind, now back on the front foot and in the draft of this number 7 Porsche just up front. Campbell is looking for a way past this 31 car. He pokes his nose around the outside, but switches to look up the inside. But Blomqvist has positioned his Cadillac perfectly. Campbell looks around the outside in the braking zone, but there is nowhere for him to go. And Van der Zande closes in on these 2 cars up front as Campbell uses all of the apex curb and then slides on the exit. Van der Zande is within touching distance of this Porsche, but not able to execute the move. Through turn 1, Campbell is caught behind GTD traffic, but there is nowhere for Van der Zande to go on this tight circuit. And as they make their way down through the S's, I want to do something that I normally don't and just say how incredible it is that we have such an amazing battle between Formula One, IndyCar, and sports car racing legends alike amongst a bumper grid of cars. What a time it is to be a sports car racing fan, and what a time it is to be an IMSA fan. Into turn 6, and Campbell is once again closing on Tom Blomqvist, but he slides wide through the apex. Van der Zande has a run coming out of the corner and is in the draft of that number 7 Porsche, but Campbell just has the legs coming out of the corner and has the speed on the straights as we see that 7 car pulling away from this 01. It is clear the Cadillac is better in the corners, better on the brakes, but that Porsche is fast in a straight line as Campbell pokes his nose up the inside of the 31 car, but thinks better of it. Through the chicane, and once again these 3 cars close in as the 31 and the 7 pull to the right hand side, once again kicking up dust on the right as they make their way into the pit lane. This is Van der Zande's time to shine and overtake the 7 and the 31 on pit lane exit. If we look up on the right-hand side, there is that number 7 car as he makes it 3 wide, going past Felipe Nasr, who is now aboard. And we can see just ahead, there is Jack Aiken in the 31, struggling to put the power down as he goes down through the S's. Van der Zande easily makes his way past, putting that 31 down a lap once again. And as this stint comes to an end, Van der Zande once again finds himself with the most treacherous lap ahead of him on these cold tires. He short shifts on the pit lane exit as he tries as hard as possible to keep from spinning up these rear tires. As he exits turn 7, he is finally able to put temperature in his tires and do not suffer the same mistake as his previous stint. As he makes his way around these GTD cars, we see no sign of the Cadillac or of the number 7 Porsche. But if we look to the left-hand side, there is the number 5 Proton Porsche, the privately entered car, as well as the 24 BMW of Philip Eng, who puts this number 01 Cadillac back to 5th position in the GTP standings as Van der Zande nearly loses control coming over the crest on these cold tires. With Van der Zande able to successfully navigate that outlap though, he is once again on the front foot and closing in on the 25 BMW. Philip Eng is caught behind this Proton Porsche as they make their way over the crest through turn 3. And all the while, Van der Zande is slowly inching his way closer. Down the hill they go through the S's, and we can see this number 5 Porsche isn't quite as aggressive as we're used to through the GTD traffic. The BMW flashes his lights as he tries to make his way past this number 5 Porsche. Into turn 6 though, he is still caught behind as Van der Zande pokes his nose up the inside. The BMW closes the door at the last minute, but that compromises his exit, and Van der Zande is now fully in the draft of this number 24 car. Down this back straight though, we can see that BMW just has a bit more top end than the Cadillac. And as they make their way into the chicane, the BMW is sufficiently ahead as he looks up the inside, but the Cadillac goes around the outside of the BMW. Van der Zande, with a late brake, is able to claim 4th position from Philip Eng as he continues to pursue the top 3. With this race raging on, danger still lurks around every corner as these drivers push harder and harder in the quest for their individual class victories. Down the hill, an LMP2 squeezes up the inside of the Pfaff McLaren that nearly makes contact. Van der Zande has to toe the line between staying safe and getting ahead. As he tries to make his way past this McLaren, Van der Zande nearly makes contact with a Mustang, but the race-leading 10 Acura isn't so lucky. In the blink of an eye, it is all ripped away from the 10 car. Another heart-wrenching Petit Le Mans for Wayne Taylor Racing. With the race leader being taken out and the safety car making its way into pit lane with just over 30 minutes remaining, the battle for the overall lead is now between the 01 and the number 6 Porsche of Nick Tandy, who squeezes the throttle as he goes over the crest and makes his way down the front straight to retake the green flag and attempt to build a gap on the 01 Cadillac of Renger Van der Zande, who is chasing just behind. Into turn 3, and they've already started to side their way through this GTD traffic as they are hustling now, throwing caution to the wind in search for this overall victory. Down through the S's, and Tandy is caught behind the GTD cars up front. We can see him get a little wiggle on the exit as Van der Zande uses all of the road, pushing his car to the limit. As he flashes his lights though, we can see he's flashing only his left side headlights. The right side lights have stopped working as Tandy squeezes past a 45 Lamborghini. That could play an issue later in the race, but for now he can continue running with just his left side headlights. And as they scream down the back straight, they continue siding their way through this traffic at over 170 miles an hour. Van der Zande makes his way around the outside of this GTD traffic that puts him deep into the chicane and compromise his exit as Tandy stretches his legs just out front. But as they come over the crest, Tandy pokes his nose up the inside through the final corner as Van der Zande sets up for a better run. Now closing in on Tandy into turn 1 as he squeezes up the inside of GTD traffic. Coming over the crest and into turn 3, he closes in once again on the 6 Porsche, which is strong in a straight line, but doesn't quite have the performance going through the corners. Now, going down through the S's, Tandy uses a little bit of strategy and sets up a bit of a gap on these GTD cars so that he doesn't get caught on the exit like he did coming out of that final corner. And sure enough, on the exit, he puts the power down and builds a gap to this number 01 Cadillac, who is flashing his headlight as he squeezes past 2 GTD cars going into turn 7. With the stint continuing, Van der Zande is not allowing this number 6 Porsche to get away and continues to push his Cadillac to the limits in search of this final victory. Down the back straight they go, and the 6 Porsche is closing in on more GTD traffic. Goes around the outside of the Iron Dames Lamborghini as Van der Zande closes in the braking zone. Through the chicane, Van der Zande short shifts as he puts the power down and squeezes up the inside, coming over the crest. Through the final corner, Tandy is once again compromised by GTD traffic as Van der Zande has a run coming through the final corner and onto the front straight into turn 1. He brakes late up the inside of that Porsche and squeezes past to claim first place for Chip Ganassi Racing. As they come over the crest into turn 3, Tandy piles on the pressure as Van der Zande defends to the inside and holds the position. Going down through the S's, Tandy pokes his nose up the inside once again, but Van der Zande is able to hold on. Through the exit, he encounters GTD traffic, but is able to put the power down and sweep past with Tandy following in hot pursuit. A GTD Mercedes hugs the inside line, and Tandy is not able to make his way past into turn 6, but he lunges up the inside into turn 7 as he is hit from behind at the apex by the 24 BMW, which now overtakes him for second place. Tandy, fortunately, not suffering any damage, but now falling far behind that number 01 Cadillac of Renger Van der Zande, who is stretching his legs out front. With 5 minutes remaining and a clear track in front of them, the 01 crew is in the catbird seat to win in their final race. But as Van der Zande brakes heading into the chicane, his other headlight goes out. He is now driving almost completely blind in these dark conditions. Not only is this dangerous, if he is not able to turn on his headlights, the team will be required to fix the issue in pit lane, handing the victory back to the number 6 Porsche. Through turn 1, and it is nearly completely pitch black. He is relying on pure muscle memory to make his way through turn 3, which gives blind corner a whole new definition. Down through the S's, and the majority of the track is pitch black as he closes in on GTD traffic, just praying that their spotters are telling them that there is a GTP without headlights coming up behind. Fortunately, into turn 6, the GTD stays to the right-hand side, and as Van der Zande brakes, his headlights magically reappear. With the seconds now winding down in both this race and in Chip Ganassi Racing's tenure with Cadillac, this 01 crew can finally breathe a sigh of relief. The racing gods attempted to once again curse this 01 car, but the crew battled back, and as they make their way over the crest, the fireworks explode above as Van der Zande makes his way across the line to claim victory for Cadillac, Bourdais, Dixon, himself, and Chip Ganassi Racing. What an incredible, incredible victory and end of an era that we witnessed here. Anyways, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you guys. What an incredible IMSA season this was. I want to give a special shout out to all of my channel members. I really appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Thank you so much for all of the support, and I will see you guys next time.